You guys all return to the Cuckoo's Pint. What would you like to do?
Walk inside.
Oh, wow.
You see, Jean is currently inside, cleaning up the counter.
Hey, Jean.
Yes?
Can we see your cool bees?
He raises an eyebrow and looks down at you. Cool bees?
Yeah, like the town's bees.
And he looks over at you, Vane. Did you, happen to partake in your meat?
No. I've sort of put it in my bag for the moment.
Oh.
We spoke with the owner of the general store, and they said we should inquire if we were interested.
Right. Yeah. Well, fair
You
enough.
seem apprehensive.
No, just a little put on the spot. I'm presuming that you lot are adventurers, judging by your garments and your armor.
Yes.
We are business people.
We have one thing can be two things.
Oh God, not again.
We yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
He rubs at the back of his neck and he goes, it's no problem. Well, I suppose we've done it in the past. Yeah. If you'd care to join me, I can give you a little tour of
Sure.
Sure. And he undoes the latch inside of the counter and directs you out into the open air outside the Cuckoo's Pint again.
I feel like we're about to get partake in some weird
Bullshit.
like
Bullshit,
one of those
bullshit.
things where you have to have drink some drugs and they take you on a vision quest.
Everyone's wearing bee onesies.
Yeah.
Pretend like it's normal.
This is the best hen night ever.
Why are you here? How did you get here?
I don't know.
Where are you from?
One girl just sitting in the corner, mascara running down her face.
That's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah, antenna, one of them is just hanging limply to the side. Okay. Jean directs you to the building this way. This one. This one here. Yep. This building on the outskirts of the village. To move Kato. Oh, so many things. Closest to the woodland and the growing buzzing sound of the bees. You see a few workers are milling about.
Worker bees or workers?
Workers. And
Okay.
you see that they've gathered timber outside here in this little patch. And they seem to be constructing extremely large frames. Jean pushes the door open, and inside you are greeted with steam as a worker opens up the metal door to a large stone oven and begins collecting these cleaned glass jars from inside. Once the steam clears, you see numerous desks where carpenters and beekeepers are fixing smaller frames, akin to those that you've seen outside of the village itself, amongst the meadows. Some people seem to be drawing up plans and creating labels. At the far end of this room, however, you see these metal drums with a crank that is comes out of the top of it and off to the side. One of the workers is currently turning that said crank, and you see the plates or frames inside begin to spin. You figure that the honey is being extracted from the frames this way without damaging, all the hard work that the honeybees have put into creating the little hexagonal holes within the frame itself. And the honey then gathers on the side of these metal barrels and then filters all the way down to the bottom. This is where the majority of the wildflower honey is gathered and collected. Now,
Fascinating. Quite the operation you have.
well, this is only to start. The wildflowers are mostly from the meadows that you've seen around and inside the village of Milan itself. But if you'll follow me, and he directs you towards the back of the room where you see another door. He pushes it open, and before you, the first thing that catches your eye is a humongous piece of white, almost bluish, smoothed stone. Large enough, you think, to have been isolated from a quarry at some point. Though it's far too smooth to have been. It's roughly 15 foot across, 10 foot high, and 10 foot in length. Roughly cylindrical in shape with a ovoid face, and it's sat atop this a very low-lying wooden slab. At its base, you see a human woman standing there, light brown hair, pulled back into a plait, and she seems to be wearing an olive green pinafore set of some kind. She seems to be talking with a dwarven fellow, vibrant, fiery red hair, arms exposed with light blue runes tattooed across his skin. And they halt their conversation for a moment as they realize your presence. Oh, darling, I wasn't expecting to see you. Yeah, my apologies, dear. These are adventurers here, I'm assuming from Glencomley.
Yes.
Yes, I was just giving them a small tour of our facilities here. Oh, well, you're very much welcome here to Milan. She smiles at you, though slightly trepidatiously. She's looking at each of you.
It's good to be here. Certainly good respite to have after making our way through the forest to the north.
Ah, you came through the forest. Must have been quite a trek.
Not one we're in a hurry to make again.
She nods somewhat knowingly. Well, you're very welcome here. I'm presuming you're staying at the inn?
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Well, feel free to look around. This here, and she taps the white stone. This is one of the hives for our resident rumblebum bees.
Rumblebum bees. It's an interesting hive architecture.
Yes, well, the bees themselves have been here for quite some time, and they took residence in these hives, and we're doing our best not to disturb the hives too much, just let them do their work.
I've been led to understand that the special bees here, i.e. these ones, have a fey nature about them.
Oh, they do indeed. Well, they love the thunder and the mist that comes rolling over the tarnished mountains. They have quite electrifying properties. It's evident in the honey they produce too. If you've ever sampled it, you'll notice that it has quite a bit of a kick, an aftertaste, so to speak. It's also said that if you eat nothing but the honey for a week, that you'll withstand being struck by lightning, but you won't catch me being the one to test the theory.
Interesting.
As I said, they've lived here for quite a long time. As far back as my great-grandmother, as far as I know, and I'm presuming longer and again.
So what was the Was this hive here and you built around it, or did it get moved into this building?
Oh, no, not at all. This one has been moved here. It's at this point, Rook, that you see crawling on the side of the giant slab of stone a very, very large blue-colored bee. Its
Ro-
abdomen is slightly larger than a closed fist.
And that's a big fucking bait.
do I get any like insight into whether like these bees would like still be considered like beasts, or whether they're like proper fae?
Oh, how do you
What
throw
I
this
know.
up? Give me an Arcana check, because if it's
Sure.
not, then you know straight away, basically.
4.
Maybe? Not sure. It's the first you've ever
I'll
seen
just,
of these, guys.
I'll just yeah. I'll just say like in Sylvan, hey, how's it going?
You see the bee perks up a little bit, and you see its bottom kind of like, I don't want to say twerks, but it moves like in a rhythmical sort of fashion. Like
I'll
it's
just,
it's registered that you've spoken.
I'll cast Speak with Animals just to see if I pick up anything.
Throw up there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. You don't seem to get anything back from these bees.
Yeah, just so you're aware, me and my companions don't mean your. This is all Sylvan. Don't mean your hive any harm.
You say this, and the bee kind of like twitches his little bottom again around. Yeah. You see the dwarven gentleman spots the bee and goes, ugh, and drags a ladder over to the rock and begins to step up it, ushering the large bee into his hand. I'll bring this one up back to the colony. He carefully
Is-
steps down, and without a
That's
a notice to any of you standing here, he just walks out the side door through which you can see the trees to the outside.
I'll look back over towards the woman that seems to be in charge here. Is that a common occurrence? It seemed to be a practiced motion.
Sorry, how do you mean?
I mean, I thought this itself was a hive. Why did that bee in particular need to be brought outside?
Oh, sorry. We try our best to not disturb the bees too much when it's time to collect the honey. That one seems to have, taken its time coming out of the hive. Usually we have a way of ushering them out before it's time to collect.
Oh, so whenever you're harvesting a hive, you empty the whole hive and bring it in here?
Well, we try and usher the bees out as much as we can, and the frame that they put most of the excess honey into is at the bottom here, and she taps at the very lowest part of the stone. We make an incision across the bottom and then pull that frame out and collect the honey that way, and then reseal it as much as we can. But sometimes an errant bee comes in either curiously, or they've been stuck in the hive for so long that it takes them quite a while to come out.
And do each of the hives have their own like queen, or is there one for the rumble bum bees?
Oh, each have their own queen. Yes, this one is currently doing her mating flight, so to speak. We try to time these as much as we possibly can. They're
Makes sense.
intelligent creatures, but it is difficult to figure out when the time is right to collect. We don't disturb them too much. After all, we grew around them. They were here first.
Well, they seem to be reactive to Sylvan, so if you don't know the language already, I would recommend picking it up so that you can at least articulate your own intentions.
Yes, we have a couple of folks here who speak Sylvan. The bees, they're receptive to it, but well, I suppose Ilan will be the one to speak to about actually communicating properly with the bees, having an actual conversation with them. The dwarven gentleman that you just saw here.
Oh, and how does he manage that?
Well, to be honest with you, it looks like dancing, Jean says.
Oh. Yeah, I had noticed that I have some magics that let me communicate with beasts. And normally that could include insects, but I think the Fey ancestry or Fey essence of these creatures makes such spells inert. It's interesting to see. It must have taken quite some time to learn that language.
I imagine so, but he's been here for a number of years. I say well over a decade at this point, now that I think about it. Is there anything in particular that you are looking for with regards to the bees? Does it adventurers, I'm assuming you are curious in their more potent properties?
Well, I don't personally have any desire to, I know many adventurers, defeat creatures and harvest them and sell them on for whatever purpose. That's not my intention with coming to your hive. It's more curiosity. There's few and far places where the planes meet and civilizations grow up so symbiotically.
And you see the woman smiles at this, and she goes, "It might be an idea to check out the hive yard. I think you might be surprised at what you find."
The hive yard?
Yes, it's just past here, further up the path. If you catch up with Ilan, he might be able to bring you himself.
I assume this is where most of the hives are clustered.
Yes, we only bring the ones here that we are meant to harvest into this building. But we rotate them.
I might just do that. I'm curious about the composition of the hives. They appear to be cut stone, but I assume they're not in structure. They're more brittle than that.
She raises an eyebrow and she goes, I would suggest going to the hive yard. But I do ask that whatever you do see here, that you do keep us quiet. We are
By all means.
reticent to introduce the common folk or any naysayer that will walk through Milan to see this, but as adventurers, you should be privy to such information. This stuff might be available to you, perhaps to protect Holborn, perhaps to protect Milan itself. But I think knowing the history of the area as well might be helpful to you.
Well, I thank you for your time. It seems the remainder of my questions will be answered to the north, so...
I hope so.
I'm sure we'll speak again before we leave. It was nice to meet you.
You too.
We'll look back to the rest of the group and peter on out.
Sizable bees.
Quite.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think we might get to see some bigger ones.
Oh.
And I'll, as we walk out, I'll begin making my way up the path that we shown.
Yeah.
Or
I will follow along with Rook.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
this path here. You okay? So you venture forth into the woodland, and you follow this path for a solid 20 minutes or so as the sound of buzzing becomes louder and louder before you reach an impressively large and expansive clearing against the backdrop of trees and the tarnished mountains above, wherein you see about a dozen of these huge, almost like marshmallow shaped stones scattered about. To your left, hidden amongst the trees, you see a stone hut built beehive style and a slightly larger wooden shed off to the side. You see that dwarven gentleman with the fiery red hair is currently like coaxing the bee that he has in his hand towards one of the hives.
I'll just at like the entrance to the clearing, I'll stay there for a moment so that the dwarven man has enough time to notice us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not just in the midst of his area unannounced and unwarranted.
Yep. Yeah. Releases the bee, and the bee happily floats off towards one of the hives, kind of get mixed up with the rest of the bees that are just buzzing around each of these stones. And he notices you and brushes down his hands on his pants for a moment before he waddles over. You see, he doesn't really meet your eye, but he goes, are you here to see the bees?
That we are.
Okay. Don't get too close to the hives. They don't like it.
Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated. I was told that you had some means of communication. I knew that bees had a unique way. The normal bees had a unique way of communicating. I imagine it's a little bit more flowerful for those from the Fae.
Kind of, shuffles back on his foot a little bit. But he gives a nod. Again, not meeting your eyes.
Amazing. Oh, I'm
Insight check.
Kind of terrifying.
Give me an insight check, Vane. What for?
I want to see if he's a bee.
Oh my god.
Oh my
He's
god.
just a
I know.
collection of bees.
Yeah, he's like a amalgamation of bees. No, I want to see if he's like not like if he's not keeping eye contact and stuff because he's like that way, like that's kind of how he is as a person, or if he's like uncomfortable with like specifically us because of our different visages.
Sure, go for it.
23.
It seems like a bit of yes from column A and column B. It seems a part of his personage where he just doesn't like making eye contact.
Okay.
And he's just a bit wary of these strangers that have just pitched up.
And are now being shown this like ultra secret thing.
It's not ultra secret,
That's-
but yeah, it's
Yeah, it's not secret, but like well protected, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
he definitely seems
Okay.
more at home here than he was closer to the rest of the workers, so to speak, as well.
Okay.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the preferred flower type for these guys? A little bit of everything, or is there a particular growth that's sort of encouraged?
Well, it's not they're not like the bees out in the meadows. They're like each of them have their own queen, and each of the queens have their own specific flower that they enjoy. For example, when he points over to one of the furthest hives, he goes, that queen prefers lavender, whereas the one over there, directly across from the stone that he pointed to, they prefer white snapdragon.
Hmm. And the hives all get along with each other?
Yes and no. Sometimes one queen will usurp the other. However, they will raise one of their daughters in the hive that they left, and that daughter will grow up to be their own queen, and those two queens will usually have the same taste in nectar from certain flowers.
Like a little thought crosses Rook's mind, and like a little sort of coy grin sort of curls up, and he reaches into his bag of colding and he pulls out one of the giant daisies, and just sort of like holds it straight out in his hand and just says, "Have they ever come across this before?"
That is a giant-sized daisy, and they do partake in the nectar from time to time. But I have never seen a hive take from that flower in particular. They are too sparse.
Probably for the best as well. As I understand it, this daisy has properties that promote growth.
It is a giant-sized daisy.
I feel like if
that
any,
now.
if any hive had access to enough of these, I would imagine they would get the unfair advantage of being twice the size of the other bees.
You see, he thinks about it for a second and then smiles and he goes, yes.
Yeah, be interesting to see.
You should see the queens. They are quite large.
I hear that at least one of them is out on their mating flight. I was planning on sticking around and maybe seeing if I could see them return.
It might be some time. They go on their mating flight for about a week.
Damn. And this one's been gone for how long?
I'd say 2 days tops. She just left.
Okay. Well, at least that gives you guys the ample time to collect the honey.
Yes.
If they were only gone for a couple of hours, you'd really be in a race against the clock.
Yes, you would. The bones are far too large to roll within that amount of time.
Bones.
Yes.
Look up towards the hives again. Where do they make their hives from?
The hives have always been here. Give me a perception check, please, Rook.
Sure.
Nice.
Okay. You take the time to glance over each of the boulders, remarking on their odd shape and size, and the smoothness of certain areas and roughness in others. All of these hives seem to be loosely similar in shape, but they do have variations between them. You spot one of the smaller of the hives and notice that a wooden roof has been placed over it as like a makeshift patch to prevent additional wear and tear from the rain above. As you do focus on it, though, you notice that the area beneath the little makeshift roof that's been put in place has certainly been eroded over time, exposing a hollowness to the rock. And you see these thin spindles inside, meaning that these rocks are almost like a sponge on the inside, with a harder shell on the outside. And it clicks with what Ilana said. These aren't rocks. They're bones.
Yeah. If I were to look at one of like the bigger sized hives, what sort of scale creature would I attribute to a bone? I know they're probably like broken and split up, but just in terms of like the width.
Like, the width of one of these bones, and you look at it and it looks to be a vertebrae. Though it's lacking the spinal process, that would have once protected the spinal cord. It's just the body of the bone itself. This creature would have been gargantuan. And you do notice as well that these bones have certainly been deformed by weather. They're not the I don't want to say regular vertebrae that you come across every day, but having, encountered undead before and whatnot, you've been privy to the anatomical structure of various different creatures. And these bones are definitely misshapen. They're a lot squatter and more ovoid in shape to what they really should be. It looks like they've been here for a very long time.
Good to know. And the area around us is at the moment like primarily forest that sort of leads towards the mountains.
Yeah, pretty much. Although this there's a path specifically to the mountains. This just looks to be a clearing.
Yeah. Well, I applaud the bees for their creative hive choices.
Well, they are drawn to anywhere that has lightning or electrifying properties.
Yes. Yeah, I heard that they like the thunder. I assume that the bees themselves are quite resistant to the lightning strikes, if not unfazed.
I believe they are unfazed, but if you get a swarm of them together, they can create lightning themselves.
We all can do that.
He looks up at you, slightly questioning.
I'm a druid. And that's technically, it was a lie, because only I can do it out of my friends, I think.
Yeah.
Any of you guys call lightning?
He casts a rather dismissive eye across the rest of you.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
No.
I've never asked, actually, but it's good to know.
No, the closest I can do is shout at you, I suppose.
So do they... I assume they like the sort of static in the air, but do they go out of their way to seek lightning strikes? Or like if I were to call down lightning in the middle of this whole thing, would they be like, oh, that's super cool? Or would they be like, that's dangerous?
I think they would be excited maybe for a few minutes.
And is that good or bad for us? Oh, would a queen come out if I did it?
I doubt it. She is being taken care of by her attendants.
But yeah, probably for the best, because if I did do it and then they all came out, we'd run the risk of them getting antagonized over each other, and I don't really want to cause havoc. How far do they usually travel from the hive?
They can travel 12 miles in a day.
Just making sure, because if we get caught in some trouble south of here, and I feel the need to start calling down lightning, if I need to be aware in case a couple of bees decide to come over and check us out.
It should be fine. They only have worries for the queen.
That makes sense, and I doubt she's making such long distances on her own.
No.
Well, it was very nice to meet you.
Mm.
It's a wonderful spot you have here. The buzzing is quite relaxing.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, it is.
It's nice to see we've had a pretty troubling week.
Ooh.
I've quite forgotten your name. I'm Rook.
I'm buzz off
Buzz-off?
Ilan.
Okay. Do some people, when they ask you your name, think you're telling them to buzz off?
Sometimes.
Sometimes when you say it, do you want them to?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But Ilan is my name, but I was told buzz off was my name as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, a great name. I'm just Rook.
Rook.
No, just Rook.
I'm Vane. Lovely to meet you.
Vane.
Roshana.
Roshana.
The bees you keep are beautiful.
I'm Kato. I do not keep the bees. I merely talk to them.
Well,
Mm.
your bee friends are wonderful.
I think,
I can show you some of the things I've made.
please do.
You see, Ilan just walks over to the narrow wooden shed that you've seen amongst the trees. Turns on an oil lamp as you enter inside. And this is a very narrow shed, and you seem to have gone in like the lengthways side, so he's just kind of walking up and down along this built-in counter. You see a number of jars lay across the shelf. Some seem to contain honey of various different concentrations and colors and opacities. Other jars have flowers and whitish blue powders, what you can assume to be bits of shaved bone from the hives outside. And in one of the jars, nearest an old but well-kept microscope, you see a rumblebum bee, dead, with its little legs sticking upwards in the jar. Ilan pulls a stool over and climbs atop it to drag a hefty tome off of one of the higher shelves before just pushing his legs out underneath and plopping squarely onto the stool. I studied the bees here, and I've seen they have many properties, the bees they do. The rumblebum propolis itself is said to have this natural healing ability. I've heard that you can reattach one's limb if it has been severed from the body. Though it is
Very handy.
not available on the material plane, you can develop mad honey from these bees. However, the rhododendron flower that is needed to create such honey that has hallucinogenic effects is only available on the Feywild plane. I have no means of reaching such planes. The royal jelly of the rumblebum beans, it is said to cure all ailments, diseases, and wounds. It has some youth replenishing properties as well. Also, and he points over to the dead rumblebum bee in the jar, you can also extract venom from these bees as well. However, I do not like to, because I do not like to hurt the bees, but the venom itself can actually paralyze someone who has been stricken with it.
Well, it makes sense as to why this royal jelly hasn't been discovered. feel like it's an aspect that people would be very keen to exploit.
Mm.
However, if each and every one of these bees has the capability to paralyze a target, force is not the way to get what you want.
Yes, and usually the bees only paralyze a target when they are in a swarm. When they are by themselves, if they were to paralyze the target, they would end up losing their stinger, ended up losing their life as well.
Hmm. I assume that the just because I would assume it would be valuable for the town, or even for the people in the town. I assume the royal jelly is not something you go out of your way to harvest too often.
No, the swarm are deadly, but the bee is of even greater danger. Plus, to take the royal jelly will put the entire hive at risk, for if the queen does not have her jelly, she cannot feast upon it. Neither can her daughters.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Well, rest assured, we will not spread this information to those who do not need to know it.
I think I can trust you.
Thank you.
Been fascinating. Thank you.
You must be quite the smart man to have figured all this out.
Well, it's taken some time staying here in Milan. I am from Valahir originally, but I was not welcome there. So I came to Milan and I communed with the bees. And I learned of their ancestry and the Stormlords who once lived here. And the bees have given me purpose.
The Stormlords, can I assume they're who the bones used to belong to?
I believe so, yes. One fell here several millennia ago.
Would I know what type of creature, like some referred to as a Stormlord off that scale, would be?
This would be an archaeological kind of check, so I think it's intelligence that comes under. Let me check.
I believe this is sort of similar to history. Isn't it?
Archaeology. Fine. I'm just gonna look up the background real quick. This person
No problem.
learns about the long-lost fallen creatures of the past by studying their remains, their bones, their ruins, their surviving masterworks, and their tombs.
Not really any tombs here.
Do you have history?
I do have history.
Yeah, if you could give me a history check, please.
Sure. Can I guide myself?
Certainly. Yep.
Would you like me to? Okay.
You can inspire as well, dude. I haven't said anything yet.
Sorry, say again.
You can
My
inspire
advantage
if you
is
want.
not
I haven't declared
I
anything
would-
yet.
Pat him on the back and say, and just kind of say, sound of bees is very calming, and you have bardic inspiration.
Oh my god.
D8?
T8. Yeah.
One date.
19.
19. Very nice.
And then I will use Fortune of the Mini to increase it by 3.
God.
22. Okay. This creature was likely a giant, but not a giant as you know it. This was closer to a primordial giant, gargantuan in size, and several millennia, as was suggested by Ilan, before the sweets were even started.
Before the Werther's originals? My god.
Actually,
My God.
it was the primordial giants who carved the first Werther's original. Thank you very much.
I like this.
And then done with their great works, they threw
What
themselves
about-
on the plains.
Yeah. Wait, did they make the beloved rhubarb and custard?
That's very interesting. The Stormlords were giants of a breed, weren't they?
Yes.
I know that there are giants causing issues to the south. Do you happen to know, is it the bees keeping them back? Is it the fact that this area has the remains of the larger of their kin?
I doubt the bees would be of issue. The bees do not travel as far as the hill giants to the south. However, I figured that the hill giants would see this as an ancestral burial ground not to be tampered with.
And what, if you don't mind me prying, what history of their own did the bees communicate to you?
That they felt the strong influence of lightning through here. Tempestual energy that brought them towards the material plane.
Is the assumption that because the Stormlords perished here, they've suffused the land in their sort of natural energy, or is there something more specific to that?
I do not think so. The bones themselves carried this energy, and the bees fed on it. They deemed it a safe place to grow their colonies and their hives.
This might be presumptuous of me, and you are, of course, free to reject. But if there's any like small shard of this bone that you would not mind parting with, I would appreciate a sort of keepsake of this interaction. I know they have value to you.
My apologies, I cannot partake of that with you.
That's perfectly fine.
He does look up at you for a moment, Rook. He goes, if I might though, I can show you something, but I must ask that you do not breathe a word of this to anyone. You said
course.
You were interested in the Queen, yes?
Yes.
And you see he hops down from his stool and begins rushing out of the little shed that you are in. And round to the beehive hut made of stone.
No, Peter after him.
Yep. The rest of you follow?
I'm gonna. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm following. I'm interested.
It's like a mother goose with their their goslings following behind.
Come on, guys, let's learn about the bees.
The bees!
So, he pushes the door open, and inside you see the makings of a small bedroom. An unmade bed to the side, and a desk with opened pots of ink and scribbled pages atop of it. The floor is just littered with bunched up scraps and balls of paper. But the thing that catches your attention is the suit of armor that has been placed up on a mannequin in the center of the room. The armor itself looks to have a gold, but almost translucent quality. Almost as though it were made from the carapace of a large insect that has been fitted together to form a kind of plate armor.
Oh.
This is a piece that I was commissioned to make. It is a plate armor that has been made from the remnants of past queens. It has taken me several years to make.
That is very cool.
Could I take a close look at the armor and see like detail and like something like of this quality, how much it would go for?
Hmm. Giving like a good inspection of it, that'd be investigation.
And
Oh.
is this full plate?
It looks to be, yeah. There is seems to be like a helmet that's been placed up to the side. It's not finished yet, but yeah.
9.
But then 9. Um, you're not entirely certain, Vane, but like you've seen quite a bit of money in your time, like just in your time as an adventurer, and you think even with the money that you collected and collectively as a group, you probably could not afford it.
The craftsmanship on this is exquisite.
You I don't want to know who specifically would commission it, but I would be interested. This seems like it's a relatively unknown area. The queens aren't spoken about commonly, and to don the armor made from an entity as sort of memorable as a bee, it's quite interesting to commission such a high value piece. I doubt it's someone from the town.
No, it is not. While they were enamored with the shape of the bee and the carapace and the shell that they leave behind, they were more so interested in the resistance qualities that this armor has, and he raps on it with his knuckle. And you see, as he touches it, an almost light blue energy seems to encompass the entirety of the armor, and it glows.
Oh.
The person who commissioned this, they wish to have armor that was resistant to lightning damage before heading into battle.
And how long have they been waiting on this commission?
I'd say about 2 years at this point. It is almost finished, however. But as you can see here, and he points down to where I don't want to say the crotch, the area that
Odd piece.
the area for like the umbilicus downwards. Like this plate armor almost has like a kind of like dress quality to it as well. Like you could very easily wear this to a gala within Clan Cumbria itself or one of the major cities around Cali, and it would be deemed very fashionable. But he points to it and he says, you can see here, this is the size, the abdomen of the queen itself, which looks to be about 3 feet.
Oh. Well, remind me in the future. I've always planned to try to find in my travels some creature or insect that could be made into a fine set of like half plate. In the future, when I find myself more fit with coin, remind me to come back to you.
Thank you, but I cannot guarantee that there will be parts available. It all depends.
That I of course understand.
Is a
However,
anarchy within the hives themselves.
Your aptitude for craftsmanship with chitin itself is a rarity from the smiths and craftsmen that I've come across. So even if I find some large beast that would fit the criteria, I feel like you would be a fine individual to craft it, should you be willing, and should I be capable of returning here with it.
You see, he kind of rubs at his chin for a moment, and you do see the flash of the tattoos across his arms, the runes. He says, I would be curious to see what you might have.
Well, I won't make any promises, because I can't guarantee I'll be so lucky to find something
Hmm.
But if I do, you'll be the first one I think of.
He gives a nod.
And since you've been so kind as to show me this, a secret of yours that you clearly have put a lot of work and effort into, I'll do something not to the same scale, but similar. And I'll pull out my little star map puzzle box, and I'll start turning the pieces to make the particular star layout that causes it to open. And I'll take out the metal, the pockmark shard of metal in the inside, and hand it to him.
Mhm.
This is something I found in my travels some time ago in a ruin temple to a Corellian Lotharian elven deity. It appears to be some sort of a piece of metal, iron, I think, but the pockmarks make me think that it's perhaps meteorite. But what's unique about it is usually people of my type that pull energy from the natural world to weave into their spells. They can't really pass that energy through metal, but this piece, I seem to be able to use it to channel energy quite freely,
Mm.
which makes it quite unique and quite invaluable to me personally.
You see his eyes widen at you handing him this, and he just holds it in reverence between his two hands. This is Nebulon.
Nebulon?
Yes. It is a distant cousin to Cold Iron.
Cold iron, to my recollection, is something that Fae don't like.
Yes, and they most certainly do not like Nebulon.
Hmm. Rook sort of falls into a contemplative state for a bit. Define not like.
It is repellent.
Do you think maybe hags are involved in that list?
I should think so. Some say that it can even do damage.
Is it rare?
Very so. You see, he tentatively rolls it between his fingers, looking at all the pockmarks and seeming to commit the image to memory. You should be careful when he hangs it at you.
I'll slip it back inside the puzzle box, sort of look at it a little bit and be like, gotta really have Vane help me make a better one of these. I'm not much of a wood carver. And then he'll look up towards Roshana. Poobel stole this from me. You know that, right? Unforgivable.
Okay, I'm sorry. Poobel's still cute.
Okay. Thief. I want you to keep that in mind anytime you bring them up in front. They're on thin ice. Thank you for telling me this. I was completely and utterly unaware of the value and rarity of something I've been carrying around with me for a number of years.
Mm.
Part of me had because the magic still works, I was like, maybe if I find another bigger bit, I'll get that made into half plate. Less realistic now, I think. Probably unlikely. Really piss off Faye if I did find it, though. Okay, my motivation has been renewed. Hey guys, we need to find more of this Nebulon stuff.
I must form a castle out of it.
Where, might I ask, have you come across it before?
I spotted it once in Valor here.
They have some.
I do not think so.
Damn.
Would a weapon made out of it be especially detrimental to Fae, would you think?
Quite possibly.
Mm.
This is the second time I have encountered the material. I am uncertain of its properties. I would need to sit and completely analyze it to understand it fully. But for now, you shall carry it.
Rook sort of looks down at his puzzle box, which he usually just has in one of his inner coat pockets, on his person. But he looks at it for a second, regards it, and then his eyes sort of shift to the buzzing outside of the Fey bees, and then he puts it inside his fanny pack of holding.
Okay.
Because he's like, I don't want to antagonize 15 hives of giant bees.
Ma.
Like, you thought last
Strong.
session was bad. Let's try again.
Oh.
But what a thing for fucking Kato to come back to. Just us screaming, "It's not the bees."
Let's
and
do
then
it.
Rye having to roll initiative for 15 hives of bees.
Mm.
Well, I
At
wouldn't
least.
roll 15 individual, but Jesus.
roll for each bee.
Just first
10,000
off,
rolls later.
just be glad there isn't any flanking in this game. And secondly,
Oh, yeah,
like, you could
Jesus.
be level 1,000. If you go up against 1,000,000 kobold, I know who I've got my money on.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
Hey,
lower
I'm-
averages.
I'm gonna step into a stone wall and I'm gonna live my life in there. You kids have fun out there.
I'm gonna melt into the floor like a melty man.
Mhm. Yeah.
Actually, no. I'll just disguise myself to be a tall kobold. three I will be 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Okay, I don't think that would stop the
Yeah.
bees. Well, we appreciate everything you've shown us and the kindness of inviting us into your home. I think we'll head back to the town to rest, but I'll be sure to give you my regards before we leave town.
And should we ever come back and be in town again, we'll definitely come and visit you. It's been incredibly insightful, and I must say this armor is truly exquisite. The craftsmanship is... I've never seen anything quite like it.
Would you say it's beautiful?
No. I would
Damn
say
you,
it's
Vane.
breathtaking.
All right. Okay.
I think it's best that you be on your way.
Thank you. And I'll start petering my way out the door.
Okay.
I'll follow along.
You guys head on out. Back into the musical den of the bees buzzing. And take the 20-minute trip back to Milan itself.
I don't know about you guys, but I thoroughly...
It was incredibly interesting. The size of those bones and just the history behind this area is...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if our assumptions are right, then it's exactly what we were looking for, because why the hill giants push up.
Yes, exactly.
I was
Now,
The
it
fact
does...
that
thinking that that certainly explains why the hill giants haven't come up here.
yes, it's a religious site for them, like with the storm giant.
It does
Yes, it
add...
must have been enormous.
It does add an interesting question then, because I think we had assumed that if someone was leading them, then because of the general disposition of hill giants, it wouldn't be a hill giant leading them, because the moves have been too intelligent. However, whoever it is doesn't have enough sway over them to make them step into lands
Hmm.
That
Or they are
or they
aware.
themselves are aware and are respectful of that,
Yes.
which would mean either like another breed of giant or someone with knowledge of the history. But my point being that if them not coming up here is because of like cultural reasons, then perhaps it's not some sort of magical control, and perhaps they can still be communicated with.
Mm.
Though that would be a lengthy and arduous journey.
What are
Yeah.
I haven't had any really contact or experience with hill giants apart from the one we faced. What are the chances of there being a highly intelligent magus type one?
From what we were told before, after we fought in the Colosseum, the tournament, generally speaking, they're not very intelligent. So if there
That's
was
what I
one,
gathered.
that would be a rarity among rarities.
Hmm.
Now these storm giants, I don't
What
think they
if-
have the same limitations.
What if they uncovered something that affected one of their intelligence and, like, I'm not saying a sort of possession, but
You mean
something of that sort of awakening.
Well, all of this seemed to happen after they reached the,
excavation?
yeah.
Hmm.
So whatever it is, it's derived from that tour, that ancient dungeon, tomb, whatever it
Yes.
is, and it has a wall, a nigh impregnable one. So, they're keeping something in.
Would you think that? I don't know how common these storm giants were. I assume not very, considering the size of them. But would you assume that, say, the remnants of one could power a barrier?
Possibly, but
Not-
those
Not necessarily these remnants, but perhaps there are some in the mountains that.
I was about to
have
say,
been
I was wondering
harnessed.
if there are storm giants around here. In Hyla, where I'm from, we have stone giants. They come down from the mountains from time to time. But they are nowhere near as big as those bones would lead to believe. I feel like if a storm giant was that big, we probably would have seen it by now.
I think so. Yes.
Or
I
heard
would
it.
have missed it.
Hmm.
I know I've been distracted, but I think if I saw one of those, well, if one of those was walking around, I feel like I would have noticed.
I think their stomps would have wakened even you, Vane.
Hmm.
Well, maybe they get muddled in with the thunder.
The
But
bees
even then,
here
they're not taking
certainly have.
steps very commonly. Either way, good to be aware of the possibilities, but we won't know until we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
At the
good
very
to-
least, I don't believe the tunnel is big enough for much more than the hill giant. So I don't think there was a storm giant lying in there.
Not the main tunnel, but who knows what? I mean, if they've come upon a dungeon or a ruin of some sort, there could be ancient trails and pathways in there that, that
My
they could
biggest
have
concern
traversed.
would be some creature that was locked away to time being unleashed in using their strength to bully the hill giants into doing their bidding. But as you say, it could be another hill giant possessed or
A singular ancient
magically
storm
changed.
giant.
Yeah, maybe he's just stuck down there and he's like, "Hey guys, go and do this and that."
Mm-hmm.
But
Well-
again, we won't know until we make our way in.
Yes. Interesting to sort of discuss it, but yeah, as you say, we won't know until we get there. This has taken my mind off of things, so it's actually been quite pleasant.
That's good.
Appreciate the distraction.
Plenty
And I
more
got
on the
this-
road ahead.
Wonderful little necklace. Thank you for the gold. As I say, I will pay you back. The funds for the shop. And, yes, just a lot
And
of
the
money
wine.
tied up currently. Well,
No need to pay me
wine.
back. See it as a gift. You helped my parents, basically. So,
Well, I've given them more work.
well, I mean, business is booming.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Right, I am exhausted still, so I'm gonna hit the hay, I think. I've handed you all of your keys, so
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I'll see you in the morning.
Do you want any of us to sit in your room with you?
You worried I'll get abducted again?
I suppose it's more my own anxiety.
I
I don't want to see you, like, to find out you've been pulled out of your room by a giant queen bee.
or just a giant.
Or a giant.
Well, I had hoped
Or-
all of us would wake up first before
Mm,
noticing.
yeah.
Well, I
I
don't know.
might not. I mean, it's up to you. If I've paid for the 4 rooms, but if we'd rather bunk up, or whatever, I'm sure we can discuss it with. Not that it's really that much money, but
Here, I'll reach under my cloak and pull out an owl. That'll stick around for the first 2 hours, so just keep that with you, and I think we'll be okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll.
We'll be gentle.
got
He
an
is a
owl.
bird.
I've got an owl just like sat on my arm. I will keep him.
He's not a big owl, but he's just a little bit too big to be able to comfortably hold your hand up. He's just a little bit too heavy.
Okay, right, cool. Yeah, lovely. Thank
he's
you
a
for
little
this
guy.
burden.
Yeah.
Well,
You keep an eye on him.
Me or him?
Yes.
Okay.
I got more owls.
Oh, oh dear.
I only have one of you.
Oh, friend.
Now.
I'm going to fetch.
We had 2 for a bit.
Well, yes.
Let's not bring that back up.
Yes, my first abduction. Anyway, I need my rest. I apologize, but yes, all that unconsciousness has taken its toll. My
Not
head
bad.
needs
Go on.
rest.
You don't need a polite dismissal. Just run up the stairs.
Go sleep.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yes.
See you in the morning.
Good
I will
night.
go up to his room. Good night. And he'll put the owl on like the end of the bed,
Mhm.
or like if there's a bedside table just there.
Yeah, there is one there.
And,
If you want to use it.
And yeah, And then just, yeah, sort of nestle into bed and fucking KO absolutely, like, instantly, pretty much. Dream about bees. Giant bees hitting me with the frying pan, biting me in half, and flying at me.
Well, the
Hey,
pitter-patter of the rain on the roof is somewhat soothing.
Mm. I know, it's
Yeah.
been really soothing the whole game. I'm like, oh, this is quite pleasant. I wish it was actually raining.
hey, Roshana,
Yeah.
can you like push me towards my room? I can't see while I'm keeping an eye on Vane.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I'll push Rook towards his room. On that note, Rook, last time I had watch, I casted Detect Good and Evil because I was worried about Vane. And there was something about it. And I'm not sure if it's permanent. I didn't want to bring it up with Vane around. He has enough to worry about.
This is fucking sad to me. Sorry. Rook is blind and deaf.
Oh, wow! I'm sorry! I only
Keep
got
going. Oh, fuck.
Listen, it's okay. My intelligence is 10, okay? I might have wisdom, but I don't have intelligence.
No, just making sure everyone's on the same page. Oh,
She's just having the conversation with herself, basically.
Yeah!
I think with like with the direction we're going and the perception of the, I think Rook through the owl hears like Roshana murder.
Hey, listen, I'm not keeping this a secret. I was talking about it. No one heard it.
Okay.
oh.
Keep your secrets. Even when you try to not keep your secrets, keep your secrets.
Yeah. Roshana, you tell Rook this and you nestle him into his room.
Thank you, Roshana.
You're welcome. You cannot hear me.
He just puts a thumb up. God, as though it's like the door closes. I hope that was Roshana. It could have been Kato. I've got no idea.
I walked to my room looking as if I did a good thing. Keeping the act up.
Oh, damn.
Can't wait
at
for
the very
the
least,
inevitable. I did tell you.
at the very least, Kato must have heard it.
I'm assuming Roshana told you as she was walking you up the stairs.
Sure.
Away from
Yes.
Jean, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't scare the bartender.
That'd be fun.
After about 10-15 minutes or so, Kato heads up upstairs as well to bed. Alrighty. Vane, I'm just fucking with you. You all wake up the next morning, refreshed. Departure from the dreary gloom that you've been facing the past few days since leaving the Tarnished Forest and the
You
events
mean
within the
past
Tarnished
few
Forest
months.
itself. Sure. But you slowly rise. The rumbling thunder in the distance and the pattering of light rain on the roof. A constant but almost comforting presence staying in Milan. What would you like to do?
Crawl out of bed in the morning, head downstairs, and ask for breakfast,
Yes,
and perhaps
breakfast.
some early morning tea with their staple honey mixed through, if they have it.
Yeah, we can certainly do that for you. For breakfast, we have. Hold on, where the fuck are my notes? Here we are. Yeah, we have porridge, if you so like. Granola, fresh fruit as well. Also, lavender honey sorbet as well. Some people like to start their mornings with that.
I think I'll have a sort of selection of whatever fruit you have,
Mm-hmm.
and granola.
That I can certainly do.
Vane is still very much asleep.
Upstairs. Okay.
And let him sleep in.
I'll try the sorbet.
Before I came downstairs, I absolutely stuck a head just to see he was still there.
Hello.
I don't wake him up, I just check that he's there.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
What are you gonna have, Kato?
Oh, I'm going to take the sorbet. Give that a try. I'll take some tea as well with the honey. And see what that does.
It calms the soul.
You say that. As you're setting down and steaming plates of porridge and well cut and selected fruits have been placed before you, drizzled with honey. The pot of tea is placed before you. You see a spoon of the honey has been placed inside your cups already. Heavily, almost like a yolk yellow. It is that rich. And as you let the tea steep for a moment, pour it into the cup and let the honey diffuse into the tea itself. You take a sip. It's delightfully sweet. And then you feel a cracking sensation in your mouth. Like a pop.
Ooh.
It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever had Pop Rocks.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Or,
about
Yeah.
that before you even mentioned.
Yeah,
I went
or-
back to my childhood.
or those flying saucers with sherbet. It's
Oh,
got that.
yeah.
Yes.
It's got that kind of sensation at the very end. It's like an aftertaste, just a little. Ooh.
Yeah. That's an early morning tea right there.
Perks you right up. You see, Kato kind of moves his jaw a little bit and he goes, well, it's different.
That's good. Another high sugar, high carb breakfast for me.
Carbo load, ready to go.
I'm carb loading for life.
God.
One day I may not need to never stop running. I'll be ready.
Rook just consists of only carbs.
It's a holistic lifestyle, okay?
There is no meat on this boy's bone.
Just carbs.
Ugh.
Just carbs.
Oh,
Cannot blame him.
really?
Well, shall we get Vane up and get ready to go?
Yeah.
As much as it would be nice to hang around some of this peaceful for a bit, we still
Mhm.
have a job to do.
We do.
I'll head on upstairs to Vane's room.
Oh, righty.
Is he still there?
Yes, he is still there.
Hey, Vane.
Is it him though? Dun, dun, dun.
Ah, nailed Vane's fine.
Hold on.
Hey, Vane. You awake?
Yeah, yes, I'm awake.
I'm gonna go and get the cart and horses pulled out. I advise you make your way down and have some breakfast. I recommend the tea with special honey in it. It's got a bit of a kick.
Okay. I shall head down in a moment.
I'll head down and I'll put 5 gold on the counter and then just say to Jan, whenever my friend comes down, will this be enough to cover breakfast?
He slides back 4 of the gold pieces and he goes, this is plenty, but thank you.
Do you actually have any of the in like a small jar of your special honey that you used for the tea?
Yes, I do.
Would 4 gold cover that?
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, unfortunately that'd be another gold on top. It's
No problem.
a rarity, as you might imagine.
I'll pass over another gold.
Okay,
I'll grab it when I come back in.
sure thing.
I'll head out to the horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the horses are there, happily grazing. They look a bit warily as you approach, going, "Oh no, here we go again."
Come on.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
If I never spoke to you, we wouldn't have this. Just be. He says
Sorry,
to himself.
you cut off there.
It just Rook basically says to himself, but directed towards the horses. If I never spoke to you, then you'd just be horses, and we wouldn't have this problem.
Okay. But we
He'll,
are just horses.
Yeah, I know, but in his head they have more
Yeah.
voices with magic. So yeah, he'll just start setting up the horses
Yep,
on
easy enough to
the
do.
cart.
Bane will get up. Is there a mirror around?
There is one at the far end of the room. You see there's a very small vanity. It's not meant for like leaving anything on. It's just like a little
Yeah.
place you can sit down
Just to
and
like look.
yeah. And prune
Yeah,
yourself in the
Vane
morning.
Vane will sit down and kind of give himself a once over, make sure he looks pretty.
Yeah.
Mm,
As you are like combing your fingers through your hair, you do see your nails are blackened.
Ew. Like under the nail or like the actual nail itself?
You go digging out underneath the nail, and no, it seems to be the nail itself.
Ooey.
And you're looking at the nail bed, like, am I rotting here?
I'm sure it'll be fine. Vane washes his hands repeatedly.
Okay.
And then yeah, just like make sure his hair's all like in place, and then kind of walks down, like collects his stuff and walks downstairs,
Mhm.
kind of occasionally looking at his nails quizzically.
Alrighty.
And yeah, I'll have some tea with the crackling honey in it, and also some oatmeal with honey on it.
Okay. That we can do.
Honey.
Alrighty. You guys all partake in the breakfast. You have
Mhm.
a lovely time with the crackling tea. And soon, with your equipment and everything gathered, Rook brings the horses round to the front. Cart ready to go.
I will thank John for the hospitality.
Mhm.
And say I look forward to trying this mead. Save it for a special occasion, I think.
Yes, I would highly suggest that too. I've heard it can make people quite giddy. So I certainly hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. And I'm sure I'll be back at some point to refill the stock.
I look forward to it. It's lovely to meet you. And he pulls out your hand to shake.
I shake his hand.
Mhm.
Wait, take care. And then I'll head out and I will do some carpentry looking stuff. I'll look over the wheels and everything just to make sure I know we're out of the forest now, so it's but when we were out of the forest before, the wheel came off like twice. So
Sure. Give me a. Excuse me. You yawned and now I'm yawning, dude.
I'm sorry, it's the heat. I blame the heat.
Okay. Give me a carpentry check with wisdom as the attribute, please.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Yep.
Me.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
The
13.
wisest of the crew.
Yeah. Looks
I'm
good.
super wise. Looks
Minus
good.
2, that's 11.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, shit. Minus 2 here. 11. Yeah, it looks fun. I hop on the back.
Okay. Who is steering today?
Look to Roshana.
I will go.
Alrighty. And yeah, Roshana's taken off. Once everything's loaded up to the back of the cart, Roshana, you urge the horses forward.
You urge the fortress.
You urge the forces forward, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go. Whoop.
Yes.
Urge the horses forward. Jean waves you off as you leave Milan.
No.
We don't see Ian at all.
You don't see Elan, no.
Sure. Guys, how do
Yeah,
you feel about
no.
horses? Do you want to go north a bit on the cart first?
I was going to say, didn't you want to bid farewell to
Yeah, that's no.
Buzz off.
So,
Yes,
Sure.
no, I was.
yeah, let's nip up here. I'll quickly check if he's in that building. If he's not, we'll run on up.
Okay.
Yeah, you begin turning the horses that way, and Jean runs over and goes, No, please. If you have large creatures, you will start at the bees. We only
Okay.
travel up there on foot.
Okay. Do you know if Ian stays up there this early in the morning? It's down.
You should be, yes.
Okay, I wanted to say goodbye.
Well, we can wait. Run up there.
Go. How big of a animals scare them?
I suppose anything larger than human can put them off.
And are they aggressive towards anything smaller?
Smaller, no.
Cool. I'll turn into like a rabbit and
Oh my god.
run off.
May I recommend a hare as they're faster?
Then I become a hare.
Okay. And yeah, everyone is just, everyone's looking around talking to each other, and everyone's heads just go down as they watch this hair just belt off into the distance. Yeah, in record speed, Rook, you arrive outside the stone beehive hut.
I will unshift and then knock.
You see a bleary-eyed Ilan wakes up and opens the door. Hello.
Morning. Sorry to wake you. Gonna hit the road now, and I would have felt bad if I had forgotten to say goodbye. It was good to meet you, friend. I hope in my journeys I meet many more like you.
You too. Safe travel.
Safe keeping of the bees.
While this is happening, can Vane pull out his lute and just strum a little chord and sing, "Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you."
I'll
Because
do
Rook's
like a-
having this wonderful moment.
I'll do like a little 2-finger salute and then turn back into a hare and run off.
And, yep, you do so. Belt back to the group.
It's exhausting to like, even besides all the running, like turning into animals so quickly. I'm gonna catch my just crawl and fall backwards into the cart.
Okay.
Is he?
Don't.
So who's doing the thing? Roshana is making the animals do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
My brain is like,
Mush.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So- For the second time this morning, Jean waves you off
Yeah.
as you leave Milan. The buzzing in the meadows of purple and yellows and whites behind. The overcast weather seems to be lingering, though, for the time being. You're back on the road again.
On road again.
You're on the
So
road again.
did I miss Rose?
No,
Who
we're
did
We're going to road
okay.
now.
I'm sorry. I was.
Roshana, can you roll me a land proficiency check, please, with wisdom as the attribute? I believe you have it.
Let me see.
And if
Yes.
not, yeah. And then.
That's
I-
20.
Ooh, nice.
Damn.
Need someone to roll Perceptione, please.
I can do perception.
And then Rocky, if you could just roll
Because-
me a d20, then please.
Sure.
14. 14 and 14. 14. Let's
not
say
bad.
15.
15. Lovely. Oh, righty. You guys travel on very much the same as before, though none of the delightful medley of smells to look forward to. As you're moving away from the meadow and towards more plains surrounded by trees. You travel a good distance this day, keeping up a good pace. Nothing comes to encroach on your way, thankfully.
Right.
And nearing the end of your day's travel, you start to consider on where to settle for camp. When, Vane, you notice in the distance
Storm giant.
Firelight.
Full out towards us. Oh my god, firelight.
there seems to be a camp set up ahead with numerous folks setting up around it. A few carts pulled over to the side of the road. You hear jovial chatter and laughter and the scent of beef stew, seasoned with rosemary, reaches your nose.
How many so you said a couple of carts, how many people does it look like?
to be over a dozen.
There's a fire up there with some people around it. Do we want to park up near them, or
We should at
is it gonna
least
work?
push on up and say hello.
Hmm.
You know, if the invitation is there, we can, you know, safety in numbers and all that. And if they are a bunch of weirdos, we can continue.
No, you have that fireball technique, don't you?
Well, it's not really a dispersing technique.
Oh no, you just throw it at them and they disperse because they're ashes.
You want me to kill them?
Only if they're bastards. Like if they attacked us or something.
Oh, yeah.
Not,
if they
not just
attack us,
randomly.
Don't blow them to fucking pieces. Sure.
Yeah. I don't mean just randomly go over there and do it. I just meant if they were, you know, not nasty people that attacked us in the night, you could just blow them up.
Uh-huh.
I guess we'll pull up towards them.
Okay. As you approach, one fellow waves over to you. Hold there!
Oh there!
Looks to be a human man, mid-50s, maybe? Black hair that has become very salt and peppered over time. Wearing brown workman's clothes. He's got a large belt around his waist with loops hanging off, obviously for tools that have been taking off now that the skylight is starting to dim. Are you head to Daglion?
Yes.
Righto. The bridge might be fixed, but you could be meeting your deaths on the other side.
Are the giants still causing problems?
They are indeed.
Are there many close to the bridge?
Yeah. We've had a few visitors the past few days while repairing the bridge. There was one in particular was trying to be sneaky, looking to keep an eye on us, it seems. You hear someone from the back shouts, "Oi, but the big old fell asleep!" Surprised they didn't hear the snores up in the capital. And there's raucous laughter.
Can I scan the group and see if there's anyone that looks vaguely like a man that has a wife in the north?
Give me a perception check.
Hey, Kato.
Nice.
Nat 20 minus 2, 19.
As you're looking, there is, nobody of that description.
Didn't think so, just thought I'd
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Do you want to have your owl really quick check that there's no fiends in that group?
Good idea. And he turns around for a second, and next thing you see is an owl perched up on his wrist. After a moment or so, he looks back at you, Rook, and just shakes his head no.
Are you the crew that was fixing the bridge?
Yes, we're from Milan.
We just came from there.
Oh, I hope everything's alright.
Everything's going well as far as we could see.
Mm.
Very nice atmosphere up there.
Yes, indeed.
Did you run into any trouble fixing the bridge? I would imagine if the giants broke it, they'd want it to stay broken.
No trouble. Thankfully, just a prying eye or two. Keeping an eye on us. Like my good friend over there says, the giant did fall asleep. The snores were loud, but it did drown out some of the thawing and hammering. No issues otherwise.
Well, if we if we spot any trouble that makes it be heading in your direction, if not, at least send word. We'll do our best to intercede it.
Here, are you... I'm assuming you're adventurers by your cart and your gear.
Cavalier attitude regarding hill giants. Yeah.
Please, set up camp with us.
It'll be our honor.
And he turns to the rest of the group and he goes, Folks, these are our adventurers off to face the hill giants over by Daglion. Make sure they're welcomed and fed for the evening. You see a couple of the folk leaned up against the cars, one leg, crossed over the other, lift up a small travel cup that they have, whatever it's filled with.
How long have you folk been away from the town?
Yeah, we go. This operation has been about over a month.
Man.
We were waiting for folks over in Fairforth to reach us, but it seems the forest has taken them. We kept going.
We believe so. We traveled through the forest and found the wreckage of an old camp.
Ah. Right.
Forest is a little bit mean these days.
Yeah, seems to be. Everything seems to be. But look, we're finally finished, and looks like you lot will be the first to enjoy our handiwork.
Can we see the bridge from here?
Not from here. No, there is a good couple of miles ahead. It seems like they've just pulled away for the evening, having finished their work for the day.
Do you have anyone keeping an eye on the bridge, or?
Not right now. No.
Okay.
Knowing the giants, they should not trespass further than the river.
Roshana,
Yes.
given that we will be entering into enemy territory soon, do we want to take this up? Perhaps add some of fine meat to the broth,
We can certainly do that.
if you don't mind.
No, of course.
And I'll head over to their cooking station and pull out a couple of the like 2 or 3 rations worth of the good meat we have, just to mix through if they'll have it.
Oh yeah, they'll certainly take it. You see that the lot here are quite jovial. They seem to be just glad that the work is done and they're away from this prying eye that their boss has been speaking over. They do all look over you curiously, some having not seen any of your king before, having been brought up in sheltered parts of Colburn. But they're also looking over the armor and the weapons that you carry on your persons, intrigued. Given all the hard work that's been had, the turmoils that are to come, and with the rations in tow that you've plopped into the stew as well, Rook, they welcome you to sit down with them. And after the meal is cooked, the bowls of stew and bread are passed around to everyone.
Here's to a job well done.
Hey!
And for us, in advance.
Another cheer again. You get the sense that a couple of them have probably been drinking, and then others are just happy to be given good meat and enjoying your company.
Vane will play some songs.
Alrighty.
Just, so that they can enjoy having a successful bridge build, bridge completion, and so you'll just play some sort of drinking songs from random taverns.
Alrighty. Just give me a performance check, please. Even with the -2, it's you get the crowd singing along with you. Not too loudly, obviously, but it's hard to believe that you're in the midst of travel towards hill giant territory. You could just as easily be back at the tavern, nice and cozy by the fire, enjoying good food and good wine and good company.
Wants to hear it. Slash drink it.
At some point, though, Rook, you do see the boss kind of pulls you over to the side.
Something I can do for you.
Yeah. No, I felt the need to warn you. I know we were laughing and joking about it earlier, but the behavior, the giants, it's unnatural. I've never heard of a giant spying on humanoids before. Not without making a plan to go for them. It seems odd for them to be spending their time watching us. I mean, that is what it feels like they're doing. They've made no attempt to come near us. And for such big creatures like themselves, they are expending such energy doing so, but with no reward.
Do you ever see them complete their investigation and then head back south?
At times, yes, but there always seems to be at least one nearby. If we can't see them, they are nearby. We hear them. We hear them snoring, of course. They're here for days at a time before they head back.
I've only fought creatures like them once before. They didn't seem like the types that would accurately recall information. The fact that they're being used to spy for espionage and consistently done, it adds more questions to whoever's leading them.
Yes. And it's almost like their temperament has changed too. I mean, they know better than to cross the river. What would be?
But they're more restrained.
Yes. Because they could very well cross the river without the bridge if they wanted to. And we were close to the other side of the bridge, closer to their territory. They could have easily gone for us. I've also seen one pick up a boulder the size of one of the carts here, and he motions to one of the carts there, carrying like the remnants of the timber that wasn't used.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them throw it in the past, and they've hit their mark. Whilst I've never liked being near giants, I will certainly be glad to be away from them. Something is very off.
This has all been useful information. Even knowing that despite their change in nature, they still need to bring that information back. Which means if we're caught off guard, we can at least snip them off and perhaps go unnoticed further. Rook looks back towards his own cart and to their own horses. How many days' journey would you say it is from here to Daglion.
But first off, I would highly suggest that you do not go at a fast pace. It might seem tempting, but don't do it. You will alert them. I'd go at a moderate pace. Just keep an eye out. You might give yourself a good 500-foot advantage if you manage to spot them in time. That being said, from here, directly where we are standing right now, it'd be roughly 5 days to go to the next river, and then another 4 possibly to reach Daglion.
And the few times you saw them, did they stick to the tree line, or were they out in the open behind hills and bush and rock?
It very much depends. Majority of them stay close to the tree line, but you always get an errant one that is hiding out in the open, standing behind a tree, thinking that because they can't see you, you can't see them. But of the ones we have seen recently keeping an eye on us, they have very much stayed to the tree line.
Alright, so if we continue down the normal path, our chances of being seen quite high.
Which is why you need to keep a very keen eye out.
Yes. We'll need to be even more cautious going forward than we are. Anything else about their behavior that comes to mind?
That was of recently. Just that it's very different. I grew up in this area, and there used to be folks that lived down this valley. I wouldn't have done it, mind you, but there were folks who could predict the hill giants' movements and live out their lives out in the woods here, but have not heard from any of them since. And it seems they're a lot more organized, and there seems to be some kind of spark with them. Like they're coming up with new ideas and carrying them out. You think creatures of that size, they could very well become lazy and unmotivated, but it's certainly not the case with this lot.
There's definitely something strange at work here. Well, being cautious is an obvious train of thought. It might also be wise for us to probe a little bit. If we have the advantage, investigate, experiment. Thank you for your time and assistance. It'll go a long way in keeping us alive.
My hopes go with you. It would be nice to be rid of this problem.
More business for home.
Oh, certainly, but it's never good news to hear that another folk has perished coming up this trail. Here, eat up, drink up. Might be a while before you get a very hot meal again.
That it might. Thank you for your hospitality and jovial nature.
Enjoy.
I'm sure it's doing wonders for my friends.
Bane will continue to play for a bit, and then as it like gets darker, he'll wind down for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
So, as night fully takes hold and the firelight dims down, you pull out your tents, hop into the cart, roll up the bedrolls, do what you need to do to nestle up for the night. The following morning comes around uneventful. Safety in numbers, it seems.
Yay!
You are woken
Let's
to the
keep them with us forever.
You're welcome to the sound of the carpenters and the bridge workers here getting ready to head off and hopefully reaching back home this time.
Hey,
Setting off.
hey guys.
Hmm?
Really quickly before you hit the road, would you mind giving our cart like a once over? I don't want a wheel or something to break when we're trying to flee from the giants.
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Yeah, looks alright. Should hold you.
Wonderful. Yeah. We are pretty confident ourselves, but peace of mind is always valuable.
Third, fourth, fifth eye, always good.
Hmm.
God's speed to you.
You
And
too.
to you.
Get home safe and treat yourself to some honey.
You get
I'll
a
look to the-
bunch of thumbs up just outside of the cart. No heads or anything, just the hand sticks out or the thumb.
I'll turn to the rest of the party. We should discuss as we get closer to the bridge how we plan on journeying forth.
How do you mean?
Well, we already know that we're entering from the north of the area over the bridge. We could try to make our way quietly through, do a little bit of reconnaissance, and slip on by to Daglion, help with its defense if it's still standing, and maybe get more information, and maybe rally a couple of individuals to let us push through. We also have the option of, since we're passing it anyway, perhaps making our way down to the next river, hiding the cart somewhere far in the tree line, maybe by the base of the mountain, and then crossing the river and by foot sneaking our way to the opening of the mountain pass. If we're careful, we might be able to make it down there without alerting whoever's ordering these giants around to our presence. We need to be careful. As I was speaking to the leader there, it's not just that the giants are doing strange things; they're acting different, acting with a higher level of wherewithal and curiosity than creatures like this usually would. So we can't just assume hiding, watching, observing, and then relaying that information back, but always keeping someone on site.
It is very odd, considering the intelligence of the one we faced.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Just
not
basically
something.
See person small, bang bang.
Yes, and that's not something that. That's not something that an order could easily circumvent.
Yes, definitely. No. Guess we'll find out soon.
But I'm curious to your and perhaps we'll need to revisit the plan before we cross the bridge proper. But whether or not you think it's best to try to get to Daglion first, or try to make it to the mountain pass?
Well, didn't we? Do we need to go to Daglion? Can't remember whether we said we would.
I mean, that's where they're pushing,
Mm-hmm.
so going there would give us a defensive advantage that would allow us to cut down on the giants' numbers.
That's true.
Yes, but going straight to Badwater, we would have the element of surprise and hopefully them being less well, their numbers being less because they're pushing down south.
To the next river, on cart at a moderate pace, on the road, would be about 5 days. And from what I understand, the hill giants primarily stick to the tree line. So they're more difficult to notice than we are. Not that we can't see hill giants.
Yes, no, but I understand what you mean.
So there's a logic to us, as soon as we cross the bridge, making our way into the forest by the base of the mountain and continuing at a slower pace down the side until we reach the... Yes, because if things start to go south, ideally I would like to be able to release the horses.
Release the horse. Yeah, no, I can understand.
If time wasn't a problem, I would have left the houses in the town we just left in Milan, and would have continued through the forest on foot.
Yes, I understand. Well, I
Now,
suppose
giants, if they do have the same sort of if they're as intelligent as the before and don't have any sort of other influence, your seeming spell might actually be able to give us some useful camouflage.
Yeah,
if we follow the tree line.
true. So, do we know if they've set up any fortifications or anything throughout this next 5-day trek? I assume there's fortifications around Valston.
Yes, that's the only place we would know of.
But if they're expanding their...
Yes, they could be attempting to build more structures, but we won't know until we get in there.
So do you think it would be best to go over the bridge and then keep to the road, or would you rather take a sort of follow the river and keep to the forest?
It depends on how much we value not noticed. And that against our time, because it would be unequivocally quicker to follow the road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, definitely.
However, I think we've had a taste of what coming up against a powerful entity without knowledge of the scope, and so I would be more inclined to be on the cautious side.
Myself included, I would lean more towards the cautious.
I agree with that.
But
at least until we get some information or some sort of scouting possibilities to see what kind of a foe we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ifs and buts in the plan at the moment, so I would say consider our options as we go forward, and we'll decide once we hit the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to me. Well, shall we?
We shall.
I don't know. Guess we'll pack up tents and stuff.
If you don't mind, Roshana, I'll drive this time. I think your eyes are better than mine, and we need to spot these giants before they spot us.
That's all right.
Also, when you if you stand at the front of the cart, you're high up, and I think you've got a better van. And like it's like by like a solid foot or two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And we set out.
into the sunset.
Mhm.
What a and the game ends.
It
To
does
the
actually.
gang.
Yeah, well done, guys.
To the north. Wait,
What?
What?
I think we'll
To
call...
magnetic north.
Yeah.
It changes every minute second. What are we gonna do?
Nobody
Oh,
knows.
those poor birds.
So we'll call this session for tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Well done. Hope
We
everyone
did it,
has
Jen.
Flagging
fun.
towards the end there.
We beat your B lore puzzle.
That was really like that
Hmm.
fucking armor sounds dope as fuck.
It's-
Lightning
it's-
resistant chitin armor.
I was just kind of sitting here and being like, and I'm a good character, and that's the least defended, highest value armor we've ever seen, and I have to be here being a good guy.
Yeah. You could just kill this dude and walk away with it right
Nice.
now. He seems nice, so maybe. Yeah, that was really cool. Enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this mead at some point in the future.
Hope it was a break from the doom and gloom.
It definitely was.
Honestly, Roshana talking to herself about whatever. she
Oh
was
my
talking about.
god.
I think
Hey,
I
look.
completely missed it.
We can leave it up to Roshana to like the lack of response or like
Yeah.
like a consequential response from Rook is of any indication, or whether it's just like, what a strange guy, a little guy.
Yeah, honestly.
Perhaps he's pondering on it.
He's simply pondering in that way that he does.